Welcome to Paranormal Nightshift, your home for all things that go bump in the night, and your fan stories told here. Today's story, Debts Must Be Paid. The 4 letters. Samantha writes in, Happy 16th birthday. At least that's what everybody kept telling me. I lived with my grandmother. I never had a lot of information about my mom and dad, other than that my dad had walked out on my mom when she became pregnant, and my mom had complications during labor and didn't make it. But my grandmother did her best. It was my 16th birthday, and she tried to make it as nice as possible. It was every girl's dream, you know? But we had a party and whatnot. She brought cupcakes to school. All my friends gave me gifts. But I still just didn't feel right. It was my 16th birthday, and I didn't know anything about my parents. That's why I was so surprised when I was about to go to bed. My grandmother said, I have one more gift from you. It's from your mom. You have to promise, whatever you do, don't tell me anything about it. This is your gift, and this is for you. Gift? From my mom? I was so excited. I didn't have anything from my mom, except for a worn out picture that my grandmother had. I kept it right above my bed, but this was from her. It was 4 letters that my grandmother had given me. 4 individually labeled letters. And they were in my mom's handwriting. This was going to be a glimpse into my mom's life. My mom was going to be able to talk to me. This was going to be amazing. I was so excited. I took the letters out of my grandmother's hands and ran upstairs. But my grandmother yelled at me, do as the letters say. Just read one at a time. Please. That's how your mom would have wanted it. I did. I sat on my bed and I read the first letter. And this is what it said. Hi, sweetheart. Happy birthday. I hope you've had a wonderful day. I wish that I could be there with you to celebrate, but I just can't. I hope your grandmother is taking care of you. I know that you have heard things about me and your dad, but I need you to understand you've only heard a little bit. You're old enough now to understand the truth. Your dad and I both are still alive. We had to hide from your father. We got involved in some bad things, and his past came back to get us. I had to run, but I knew that you would be safe with your grandmother. Whatever you do, always listen to your grandmother. I have to run, sweetheart. I love you. Happy birthday. What a load of crock. They're alive. They're both still alive, and they just left me here like trash, like I'm to be forgotten about. What kind of past did my father have that he couldn't tell me, that she couldn't tell me what was going on? They've never came to see me. They've never done anything. I was so livid. I wanted to rip up the letter, read the other 3 right away, but I remembered. The letter said, do what my grandmother tells me to, and I'll be okay. Grandma didn't ask what was in the letter. She just seemed to know. She said, did you get some insight? I said, yes. And then I went to bed. I laid in bed that night thinking about opening the other 3 letters, but I wanted to do what was right. I wanted to do what my mom said. If there was some level of danger that the 16 years followed, then maybe I should have just done what she just told me to do. I slept with the letters in my hand that night and didn't sleep really much at all, but I couldn't wait to open the next letter the next day. Letter 2. I woke up that day so anxious. I couldn't wait to open the letter and learn more about my mom and dad. What kind of things were going on? What was happening in my dad's past that caught up with them? This is what the letter read. Your father and I were just kids. We were young and we were in love. And we did what a lot of kids did. We were kind of social outcast. We found a group of people that accepted us. Very gothy people. They played around with Ouija boards and magic and kind of occulty things. It was all really cool. A lot of unadulterated fun, if you know what I mean. But one night, it took a weird turn. We played with a Ouija board and there was a session. We contacted something. I don't know what. But we contacted it, and your dad and I both decided it was time to get away from this group. We left. But shortly after, I became pregnant with you, and the group started to find us. We knew we had to skedaddle. We knew we had to get out of town because they wanted you, and I wasn't going to let them have you. That's it? That's the end of the letter? They got involved with some goth kids playing with a Ouija board and some people were going to hurt you? That doesn't justify 16 years of you not being involved in my life. I was so mad. I was so upset. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to open the other 2 letters, but I just couldn't. I was so mad at her that these kids, these teenagers were going to endanger you and you could walk out on me. That was ridiculous. I was so mad the rest of the day. Even my grandmother came to me and said, I can't ask you about the letters. I promised that I wouldn't. But understand, everything they did for you. I didn't sleep much that night. I kept thinking, maybe they did come in contact with something. I never cared for Ouija boards or the occult myself, but I've heard these horrible stories. Maybe the group of people that they were with did want to hurt me. Maybe that's why my mom put me with my grandmother. Maybe they knew that this was the only way I'd be safe. I couldn't wait to open letter 3. Letter 3. Sweetheart, I know it's hard to understand, but your father was dangerous. These people were dangerous. I became pregnant, and your father and the leader of the group made a deal. Whatever we contacted that night, they wanted you. The group wanted you as a sacrifice. Every time I tried to get away, your father kept bringing me back into the group. The more pregnant I became and the more I showed, the more the group started to cater to us. They wanted you to be ready to be sacrificed to whatever they contacted. You have to stay away. By now you're 16 years old. You're the same age I was when I became pregnant. I don't know what to tell you. I'm so sorry. So much that I wish I could explain. But your father became dangerous. Every time they had this conversation, it was that you were going to be sacrificed. You had to be sacrificed. No matter what you do, no matter what you see, there will be people coming for you. You have to promise me that you will stay put. You have to promise me that you will stay at your grandmother's house no matter what. These people, they know about you. Your father told them. I ran off and I hid you. I hid you here with your grandmother. She's the only one who can keep you safe. Please, stay put. No matter what, stay where you're at. Sacrifice? These people, whatever they contacted, I didn't really know what she was talking about. Day 4, I felt weird. I didn't feel right. I told my grandmother that I just needed to stay home from school. I just wanted to be where I knew I'd be safe. I stayed in my room all day. Grandma just continued to bring me stuff and cater to me. She knew that I didn't feel right, but I waited. I waited to read the letter. Just all of this. Sacrifice? People? They wanted to hurt me? None of this made any sense to me. I stood at my window just trying to make sense of this. And that's when I started to see it. People. Just people in the neighborhood. Looking up at me. Everybody seemed to be looking at me. There was people that I didn't recognize that just were in the streets, just walking around the neighborhood all day long. They were looking at me. And then they started to gather. The sun went down. More people, they started to gather. They were in our yard. They started to be in our yard. They made themselves known. Grandma! Grandma! I yelled. And I went to the door, but the door was locked. I was trapped. It was locked from the outside. What is going on? Grandma, let me out! Let me out! The people, they gathered in our yard, more of them. There had to be 100 people in our front yard. And I was trapped. I was trapped in my room. Nobody could hear me. Where was she? What was going on? The letter said I'd be safe. The letter said that I'd be safe here. The letters. I still hadn't read the 4th letter. Sweetheart, I am so sorry. I wish I could be there with you right now to keep you company and reassure you. But understand, your life will be sacrificed for something more powerful than you'd ever understand. Thank you for obeying and staying put and making it so easy to find you. Your father and I made a promise, and debts must be paid. That was the final entry in this journal that I just found. My name is Kathy. We just moved into this house, and this is my room. I found this journal underneath a bookshelf. I hope that she got away, but there's things about this house that don't make sense, and I have a feeling that she didn't. Oh, I absolutely love this story. Thank you so much. And if you have a paranormal story that you want told here on Paranormal Night Shift, please send them in. Don't forget, we have Paranormal Night Shift stickers available up here in our link tree. Thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy.